Hey team, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of my monthly favourites, a special episode dedicated towards showcasing one thing in the world of training, nutrition and biohacking and recovery that is new and working well for me right now. One thing in each of these categories, showcasing 3 new favourites today. Let's get cracking. What's going on team? Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Jim Galvin and on this channel we cover all things training, nutrition, biohacking and ancestral living to help you guys work out what you need to do based on your own individual biology to help improve and optimize your performance, your health and your physique. And today I want to showcase one new thing in each of these 3 categories, and let's get cracking with the first one in the world of training. I'm still in kind of this weird pseudo functional fitness phase of my training right now with a special focus on power development, which is one thing I always like to focus on, but with a healthy injection of functional bodybuilding in there as well. This basically means that I want a good quality athletic physique, but one that is functional and one that can shift pretty quick when it needs to. Lots of lower body power output stuff, and I'm a huge believer in doing deliberate work for the top end range of motion for your lower body. We are always going to be so much stronger at the top end than we are at the bottom end. So if you only ever do full range squats as an example, you will only ever be lifting the amount that you can lift at the bottom range, which means you're hugely missing out on a massive amount of kind of potential strength and power gain at the top end. This is why I believe that we should do certain full range lower body work at a certain resistance and then separately do work just at the top end, like Anderson squats as an example. Here you would be using a much higher weight, which means the top end range of motion is actually challenged. But Andersons are not what I want to talk to you about today. I'm actually loving a different exercise that really hits my glutes and absolutely punishes my posterior chain. And they are, drumroll please, band resisted hypers. I love using resistance bands in pretty much any exercise actually because it works with what's called our natural strength curve. This is basically the term given to what I was just talking about, which is we are usually much stronger at the top end range of motion, whether that's squat or even an upper body variation of bench or overhead, right? You're stronger the closer you get to finishing or locking out the movement. Get yourself either in a hyper bench or a GHD, keep your spine nice and neutral and drive from the hips, guys, as you're seeing here. The difference between this and say a banded deadlift or a banded RDL is that because we've turned everything on its side by 90 degrees, at the end of the movement, the glutes are still under tension and having to work to keep us in that position, which means we can get an incredible benefit when we actually pause at fully extended hips because we're at that 90-degree angle for a second or two. Compare this to some kind of deadlift variation, and that's a little bit pointless because by the time you finish the movement, effectively you're standing up, everything is stacked in a straight line and gravity is going down, the glutes pretty much switch off because they're not really having to work to continue to keep that in position because you're already stood up. Posterior chain's not having to work any more than it would normally do to keep you in that position. You're basically just stood up holding something heavy. Banded hypers are amazing for a couple of reasons when we compare them to other kind of similar exercises. You can pause at the top end and get a great burn holding at that 90-degree angle. It's a posterior chain move, which basically means your lower back, your glutes and your hamstrings, that isn't grip dependent. It doesn't require a huge amount of plates and a massive amount of time to set up. And fourth and finally, which is again huge in kind of the world of developing that posterior chain, which is our power outputters like sprinting animals, it actually doesn't compress your spine. Winner, winner, right? 100%. If you have the infrastructure in your gym or in your home gym or wherever to set this up, even if you have to be a little bit kind of creative with how you do it, I definitely recommend including banded hypers into your training routine, into your lower body routine at least once a week. Good work, guys. That is training done. Moving on to nutrition. I said in an Instagram story recently that too few people in my experience, and that's my clients, my friends, my kind of associates and colleagues in the industry, consider what they actually cook their food in as something that is worthy of investigation. I think it's pretty much generally accepted now that cooking with things like refined seed and vegetable oils and things like rapeseed and canola oil are probably not the best for us. And obviously a big undercurrent of the themes of this channel are based on trying to replace and put back into our lifestyle what the modern world has put out. I literally mentioned ancestral living in the intro. So I reached out to my buddies at the Australian Bone Broth Company to see if they could send me some of their organic ghee. Guys, it is amazing, as it is completely free from both lactose and casein. Is going to be a million times better and easier on the gut for people who struggle to kind of deal with higher quantities of like conventional dairy. It tastes bloody amazing and seems to go with literally everything I cook. I'm a massive kind of stir fry guy. I really enjoy good food and kind of the taste and experience of clean ingredients. But at the same time, I'm not massively precise with what I do. So I'm a huge fan of kind of like one wok, one big stir fry pan and then basically just chucking everything in. And the ghee allows me to do that with pretty much any ingredient, and whether or not it's meat, kind of any kind of like organ stuff, some fish, whatever it may be, the ghee just seems to taste perfect. It doesn't seem to disrupt anything at all. I'll link this particular product in the description below, and knowing how clean all the stuff is that the Australian bone broth company do, it just gives me that extra little bit of peace of mind that I'm putting the best stuff in my body, and I'm not just filling my flipping veins and arteries with different oily, processed, refined rubbish. This stuff's 100% organic, it's completely natural, and for me, I am personally willing to invest a little bit more time, effort, energy, and money in ensuring that I bring into my cupboard in my kitchen products that give me that peace of mind that they're just that level of clean. What we use to grease the pan that we cook our food in every single day surely deserves a little bit of attention. And I'd rather be having 100% organic grass-fed cow ghee put into my body every single day, rather than sinking a couple of litres worth of canola oil every single year, causing irrevocable damage to my mitochondria and my brain. No thank you. Australian bone broth company's ghee. Get it in you. Nutrition done. Right, let's move on to my final favourite of the day. In the realm of biohacking, recovery tool, ancestral living, putting back in what the modern world took out, getting back to a more natural way of living, blah, 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 you know what I'm talking about. And for those of you that follow me on Instagram, which you should, you know that about a month ago, just before I went to Dubai, I bought a sad lamp. A lamp that is designed to replicate the specific type of light that you receive from the sun, and already, well, literally within a week of me using it before I went to Dubai, I experienced some incredible benefit. Number one, mood. Because it replicates sunlight, it does absolute wonders for our serotonin levels. Number two, one thing I wasn't expecting but I'm very happy with, it's also done wonders for me feeling amazingly energized throughout the day and exhausted at night. So the quality of my sleep just feels just that much deeper. It's literally like flicking a switch, comes to about kind of 10:30, 11 p.m. at night, and I'm just flipping out cold. And as sleep is something that I've struggled with, has been frustratingly outside of my control for years, having just that extra little kind of piece of the puzzle that might work towards helping with that, I was over the moon that started happening literally probably within about 3 days of me using it. And number three, results may vary on this, I don't know whether or not there's any link, because I just feel a little bit more kind of awake throughout the day, and I literally turn it on and have it kind of blasting in my eyes within about 90 seconds of waking up with my toothbrush hanging out my mouth. I don't feel as though I need as much coffee throughout the day. This might be something related to my circadian rhythms and how deeply I'm sleeping. It might be something completely unrelated to any of this stuff. But within about 2 days of taking it, I really almost didn't feel as though I kind of needed one or even really wanted one. I kind of kept having one through the day about 11 a.m. in the morning, just as, I don't know, routine as much as anything else. But for me, as someone who's drunk coffee 1 or 2 a day, pretty much every day for the last kind of 15 years, I've had 1 or 2 weeks off a couple of times over the last few years to kind of down-regulate my receptors. But say on the whole, I've had between 1 and 2 cups of coffee every single day for the last 15 years. It was really interesting, having changed nothing else really other than getting the sad lamp, getting up, and feeling not even as though I could just push through and persevere, but that I actually didn't really need one at all. And with these things now incredibly affordable, I think mine was about 26, 27 pounds from Amazon, it just makes sense to at least give this a go, especially as we're coming into winter, when realistically going outside into the grey, the cold, the dark is obviously incredibly, if you're like me and in the UK, very uninviting. So it makes sense in a time like this, as we're coming into that period of the year, to just stack the deck in your favour and get all of these little tricks and tips and hacks that might just mitigate the kind of the downward spiral of your health in the winter months. Just stick it wherever you are most of the day. I kind of rotate between the kitchen if I'm in there for an hour or two doing some work, or in the office if I'm at my stand-up desk, I just kind of have it in the corner. You kind of forget it's there, but you're getting all the benefits. I do definitely recommend getting in front of it as quick as you can from the second that you wake up. Again, for me, it's probably anywhere between 60 and 120 seconds that I'm there, pretty much stark bollock naked, brushing my teeth in front of the lamp, almost placebo or not, I don't really know. I'm just trying to absorb all the flipping rays from this lamp within less than 2 minutes of me opening my eyes. And there we have it, guys. Another episode of my monthly favourites done. We have had banded hypers, an insanely good exercise for your posterior chain, allows you to pause at the top and still get the benefits of your glutes working, doesn't compress your spine, and all the other benefits that we mentioned earlier. We've had 100% organic grass-fed cow ghee to be the main thing that greases the pan, and so few people actually consider it a regular ingredient that we're putting in our body. Knowing that the stuff is good quality and clean is just, it blows my mind that people think that isn't worthy of investment. And number three, we've had a sad lamp to boost our mood and our serotonin production and help regulate our sleep and circadian rhythms as we come into the winter months. Guys, I'm not sure if you saw, but a couple of weeks ago, I was out in Dubai, and myself and a buddy, Diana, we decided to enter the Turf Games Dubai City Series. Really good fun, really great vibe at this functional fitness competition, and if you guys want to see how we got on, just click this link right here to check that video out now. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, stay strong, stay awesome, stay healthy, and peace out for now. See you in the next one.